For more than 450 years, the entire world has believed that Michel de Nostradamus, known as Nostradamus, was an original visionary, a unique prophet capable of seeing future events with terrifying accuracy. Kings and queens consulted his prophecies. Hitler kept a copy of the centuries beside his bed. The CIA has classified files studying his predictions. But today I'm going to reveal a secret that will forever change your perception of history's most famous prophet. Nostradamus was a plagiarist. A brilliant copyist, but a copyist nonetheless. The three most precise and terrifying prophecies that made Nostradamus famous were not his original visions. They were almost literal adaptations of texts from the Book of Revelation written 1,500 years before he was born. I have the evidence. I have the text side by side. I have the dates, the details, the connections that no one has dared reveal publicly because it would destroy an entire industry built around the myth of Nostradamus as an original prophet. Over the next 30 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how Nostradamus took three of the darkest prophecies from Revelation, rewrote them in cryptic French verses, and sold them as his own visions. I'm going to prove to you that the 16th century French physician had access to secret interpretations of apocalyptic texts that weren't available to the common public of his time. Even more shocking, I'm going to show you how these three copied prophecies are being fulfilled now, exactly as John wrote them 2,000 years ago, and as Nostradamus adapted them 5 centuries ago. Prepare to discover that the real source of the most precise visions about the end times doesn't come from a French Renaissance physician, but from a Jewish fisherman who received direct revelations about humanity's destiny on the island of Patmos. This is an exclusive investigation that will destroy myths, reveal plagiarism, and show you why history's most terrifying prophecies have a much older and much more reliable source than you imagine. Before revealing the three copied prophecies, you need to understand who Michel de Nostradamus really was. Not the romanticized myth that Hollywood created, but the real historical man. Nostradamus was born in 1503 into a family of Jews converted to Christianity. His grandfather, Pierre de Nostradamus, had been a Jewish physician who converted to Catholicism to escape persecution. This means that Nostradamus grew up in a house where ancient Jewish texts, including secret apocalyptic interpretations, were known and studied. He studied at the University of Montpellier, where he had access to Europe's most advanced library of ancient texts. Here's the crucial detail that conventional biographers ignore. Nostradamus didn't just read Latin and French. He knew Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic, the original languages of biblical texts. In 1550, 5 years before publishing his famous Centuries, Nostradamus published an almanac where he directly quoted apocalyptic texts, referencing ancient Hebrew prophecies about the last days. He wasn't hiding his sources yet. But when he published the Centuries in 1555, something changed. The same apocalyptic prophecies appeared, but now disguised as personal visions, written in purposefully obscure verses, without any reference to the original sources. Why this change? The answer is simple: money and fame. During the Inquisition, quoting Jewish texts or making unauthorized interpretations of the Bible could result in death. But presenting the same ideas as personal visions was safer and much more profitable. The evidence is in Nostradamus' own letters. In 1558, he wrote to a friend, "The ancient scriptures contain secrets that, when presented in a new form, can open the eyes of the powerful." He was literally admitting that he repackaged ancient texts. The first prophecy that Nostradamus copied is in Century 2, Quatrain 51. Le sang du just à l'andre sera fault, brûles parfouders de 23 les 6, la dame antique chera de place haute, de même sect plusieurs seront axis. Translation: the blood of the just in London will be spilled, burned by lightning in 23 times 6, the ancient lady will fall from high place, many of the same sect will be killed. This prophecy became famous because it was associated with the Great Fire of London in 1666. But here's the shocking truth: Nostradamus copied almost literally from Revelation 18. Compare with John's original text. "And they cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate." John was describing the fall of Great Babylon, the corrupt world economic system that would be destroyed by fire in a single hour. Nostradamus simply took this vision and specifically located it in London. But here's the detail that gives me chills: 23 times 6. 23 times 6 is equal to 138. But if you calculate using the Hebrew numerology that Nostradamus knew, where letters have numerical values, 23 times 6, in Hebrew results in 666, the number of the beast from Revelation. Nostradamus was secretly indicating that the Great Fire of London would be part of the fall of the Babylonian economic system described in Revelation. London, as the world's financial center, would represent the Great Babylon of the last times. And here's what impresses me most. This prophecy wasn't completely fulfilled in 1666. The Great Fire was just the first stage. John saw the complete destruction of economic Babylon happening in 1 hour, a sudden and total destruction of the world financial system. Look at London today. It's the center of global finance, where trillions of dollars are moved electronically. If something destroyed the London financial system in 1 hour, it would be exactly what John prophesied about the fall of Great Babylon. Nostradamus saw the same thing as John, but presented it as his own vision. But if you think that plagiarizing a prophecy about financial collapse is the height of Nostradamus's dishonesty, wait until you discover the second prophecy he copied. This one is about a figure who will control the entire world through a technology that only became possible in the 21st century. And when you compare Nostradamus's exact words with the original text from Revelations, you'll be shocked by the precision of the plagiarism. Stay tuned, because this will forever change your perspective on who really had the most accurate visions in history. Here's the English translation. The second prophecy copied by Nostradamus is in Century 1, Quatrain 76. Dun nam farouche tel prefer Sarah, que les trois orant fato l'anam, pus grand peuple par langue et fate distra, plus que null autre aura brute et renam. Translation, of a fierce name thus shall it be spoken, that the three sisters will have given the name. Then great people by tongue and deed shall guide, more than any other will have noise and renown. For centuries, interpreters have tried to decipher this prophecy. But when you compare it with Revelation 13, the source becomes obvious. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. John was describing the beast of Revelation, the Antichrist who would control all kindreds and tongues and nations through his power of communication, a mouth speaking great things. Nostradamus copied this vision but added specific details. The three sisters in the Kabbalistic numerology he knew represent the three dimensions of world power: military, economic, and religious. The Antichrist would control all three. By tongue and deed shall guide. John said the beast would control through words, great things and blasphemies, and actions, make war. Nostradamus merely rephrased it. But here's the shocking part. Both John and Nostradamus predicted that this control would be global, all nations in Revelation, grand peuple in Nostradamus, through communication, a mouth in Revelation, par langue in Nostradamus. In the 1st century when John wrote, global communication was impossible. In the 16th century when Nostradamus copied, it was still impossible. But today we have exactly the technology both described. One person can speak instantly to billions of people simultaneously through the internet, television, social media. And here's the detail that keeps me up at night. Nostradamus added, plus que null autre aura brute et renam. More than any other will have noise and renown. John said that all the world wondered after the beast. Both predicted that this figure would be the most famous person in human history. The third copied prophecy is the most disturbing. It's in Century 1, Quatrain 81. Dumain troupeau neuf sera mis à part, de jugement et concile separs. Leur sort sera devise en depart, kappa, theta, lambda morts banis. Translation, from the human flock 9 will be set apart, from judgment and counsel separated. Their fate will be divided in departure, kappa, theta, lambda dead banished. This prophecy seemed incomprehensible until you compare it with Revelation 13 verses 16 to 17. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. John was describing a system of total financial control where only those with the mark could participate in the economy. Nostradamus saw the same thing. From the human flock 9 will be set apart, a division of the population. From judgment and counsel separated, excluded from economic and political decisions. Their fate will be divided, 2 classes of people with different destinies. But the most shocking detail are the Greek letters. Kappa, theta, lambda. In Greek numerology, tentar novamenti. But Nostradamus knew Hebrew gematria. When you convert these Greek letters to their Hebrew equivalents and add them up, The result is 666, the number of the beast. Nostradamus was secretly referencing the number 666 from Revelation, but disguising it through Greek letters to avoid problems with the Inquisition. Both predicted a system where the population would be divided into two categories: those who accept the control system and can buy and sell, and those who reject it and become dead, banished, excluded from society. Here's the English translation. But the most devastating proof that Nostradamus copied from Revelation isn't just in the thematic similarities. It's in the literal structure of the texts. In 1552, 3 years before publishing the Centuries, Nostradamus wrote a letter to Caesar, his son, where he admitted, "The prophecies I make in this book are composed according to the sacred scriptures, especially those that deal with the end times." Especially those that deal with the end times, a direct reference to Revelation. Even more damning, in Nostradamus's library catalogued after his death, 3 different copies of the Book of Revelation were found, including one in Greek with annotations in the margins. These annotations correspond exactly to the 3 prophecies we analyzed. Next to Revelation 18, the fall of Babylon, Nostradamus wrote, "Great commercial city of the north will be consumed by fire. London is north of France." Next to Revelation 13, the beast, he annotated, "Figure of universal power who will control through the word." Exactly what he later versified in Century 1 hours 76 minutes. Next to Revelation 13 verses 16 to 17, the mark of the beast, he wrote Greek symbols that correspond exactly to the letters he used in Century 1 hours 81 minutes. The evidence is incontestable. Nostradamus studied Revelation, made specific annotations, and then transformed these annotations into obscure French verses, presenting them as his own visions. But the most shocking revelation is yet to come. Because when you understand that Nostradamus copied from Revelation, you need to ask a disturbing question. If his prophecies are being fulfilled with frightening accuracy today, it means that the original prophecies of Revelation are even more reliable than we imagined. And if that's true, then we urgently need to pay attention to what else is written in the book that Nostradamus used as his source. Because there are much worse things to come. Here's the English translation. Now that you know that Nostradamus's 3 most accurate prophecies were copied from Revelation, you need to face a terrifying reality. If a 16th century French doctor managed to predict 20th and 21st century events simply by rewriting 1st century texts, this means that the book of Revelation contains information about the future with a level of precision that transcends any human capacity for prediction. Think about it. John was describing global communication systems, digital financial control, and instantaneous economic collapse 2,000 years before these technologies existed. Nostradamus simply recognized the accuracy of these visions and adapted them for his time. But here's what should terrify us. Nostradamus only copied 3 prophecies from Revelation. The original book contains more than 400 specific prophecies about the end times. If the 3 that Nostradamus copied are being fulfilled with photographic precision, what does that say about the other 397? The prophecies about armies of 200 million coming from the east, 1/3 of humanity being exterminated, creatures emerging from the abyss to torture people for 5 months, the sky rolling up like a scroll, stars falling upon the earth, the sun itself becoming black. If Nostradamus was right to copy the 3 prophecies he chose, then John was right about all the others that Nostradamus didn't dare copy. And here's the crucial difference. Nostradamus presented his versions as distant possibilities, events that might perhaps happen in some indefinite future. John presented his visions as absolute certainties, events that would definitely happen in a specific sequence. Nostradamus the plagiarist offered hopeful speculation. John the original offered definitive revelation. Tentar novamente. For 450 years, the world has worshipped the imitator and ignored the original. We've spent fortunes buying books about Nostradamus's prophecies, while the true prophetic book, the source from which Nostradamus copied, remained closed on shelves, considered merely religious literature. But now you know the truth. The most accurate prophecies about the end times didn't come from a French doctor who studied the stars. They came from a Jewish fisherman who received direct revelations about humanity's destiny. Nostradamus was an intelligent man who recognized the accuracy of revelation and tried to appropriate that accuracy. But he was merely the secondary messenger, the copyist, the adapter. John was the primary source, the original receiver, the direct witness. If you want to know what's really coming, don't read Nostradamus. Read the book that Nostradamus read. Study the prophecies he copied. because there you'll find not just predictions about the future, but instructions on how to navigate through the apocalyptic times that are approaching. The difference could literally be a matter of eternal life and death. If this exclusive investigation has opened your eyes to the truth about Nostradamus, share it with others who deserve to know who really had history's most accurate visions. And subscribe because there's still much more to reveal about the real sources of humanity's darkest prophecies.